Expected to seek out the best. 2 words to describe the activity. The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa.
Presidential
we break the news.
Women in Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime
Our
News.
24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back. Now, it's Core Digest Extra, and we're looking right now in this segment at the purported impeachment saga in EKITI State that has been rocking the assembly in EKITI State. And joining us right now in the studio is Right Honorable Tunji Orisalade. Thank you for joining us in the studio.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Now, let's go straight. Of course, you were replaced, you and the Speaker, you were replaced on Thursday by about 1 or 2 persons. Now, tell us your own side. What exactly, because the accusation is that you have an agenda to carry out, an agenda which it would say that it was sponsored by the APC as alleged by the PDP. What is your take? What do you have to say about this?
Well, first of all, I want to say good morning, viewers. The purported impeachment, I mean, to any reasonable mind, there's no way it can stand. I mean, that's a House of Assembly, which under the Constitution is expected to make laws for the good governance of EKITI State. So it's a House of Law, built on law, and also modified and guided by law. So there are laws governing all our activities. In the first instance, we have no agenda to do anything against the PDP, either the executive or even the 2 PDP members in the House and the 5 sympathizers of PDP. Because in the record of the House as of today, we have just 2 PDP members. The 5 other honorable members are just sympathizers of PDP because they have not officially defected as enshrined in the laws. There's no letter showing their defection, and there is no announcement on the floor of the House showing their defection. I mean, that aside, I want to say that whatever impeachment process, yes, is provided for in our law. And if you go to Section 92 of the Constitution, it's there. This is a House of 26 members. And the law says for the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker to be removed from office, you must have 2/3. 2/3 of 26 by the special grace of God and by arithmetical calculation is 18. So it is only 18 members.
So what you're saying is that it's unconstitutional.
It is unconstitutional.
Okay.
It is known to themselves. The people purportedly carried out this. They are not illiterates. They are educated people. I mean, learned, quote and unquote, and they know. Well, you see, the motive is just to disintegrate the House and foment trouble and make the House not working.
Let's get back to the issue where the point where this whole saga started. A list of nominees were brought to the floor of the House, and the governor also alleged that some of the APC lawmakers were demanding 10% of the loan that he asked to be approved on the floor of the House for small and medium-scale businesses. How true is that?
That is completely untrue. This is an House of Assembly that had made history in this country. It was the House that sat on the day, the only House in Nigeria that sat and did business on the day of inauguration, on the 6th of June 2011. Until date, we passed close to about 71 bills into law. All these bills having direct impact on the socio-economic development of EKITI State. So we passed those laws under a serene atmosphere. We never demanded for anything.
But that is a bit skeptical and in some quarters a bit doubtful, because this is the same House who said they weren't going to sit because of the debt owed them by the Fayemi administration, which was paid by the Fayemi administration before that House could sit.
No. There was nothing like that. There was nothing like that. You see, our running grants Unfortunately, we don't have financial autonomy. We still have to rely on the executive. All the houses of assembly in the state, you still have to rely on the executive to give you. We only hold the September allocation. And that September run the grant for September had not been released from the federal government. It came in when Mr. Ayofayose had become the governor. So he is under an obligation, a constitutional responsibility to pay it. We never insisted that we are not going to sit until he paid. As at the time of his inauguration, there was no business, so to say, no bill from the executive, no job from the executive for us to do. So it was the two letters he wrote were just the first thing that is coming to the house, and we treated it. We never demanded for anything. If anybody had gone to him, probably people from his party and the sympathizers. No member, I can vouch, none of the 19 members of APC had ever met Mr. Ayofayose to negotiate anything. Something we have not done in the past 3.5 years. Are we just going to start it? This is a house that have resolved to do everything in the best interest of Ekiti State. And that's why we have been able to pass such number of bills, because we see that all this will have direct impact on the growth and development of Ekiti State. I stand here to say that nobody ever negotiated on anything, either to pass bill or to even do anything. The list of nominees that were brought, we have our rules. We have our rules.
Okay, what are those rules?
Yes. For example,
really
if the governor writes a letter, if there's any message from the governor, it's covered by our rules. You understand? And it has to be read. I think Order 41 or thereabout. It has to be read on the floor of the house. That's the message from the governor.
All right.
Order 41 Rule 1. And once it is read, let me read it out to you for purpose of emphasis, so that the public is well guided in what's actually transpired. This is it. A message from the governor, if presented to the house by the leader of the house, may be brought up at any time before the commencement or at the close of public business, and shall be considered upon a future day. That is what our standing order says. So if Mr. Governor writes any letter to the House of Assembly, it's either is mentioned immediately before the commencement of business or thereafter, or after the close of business. It cannot be considered the same day. The word shall appears in that standing order. It is mandatory, it is obligatory.
Okay, how long does it take for the House, the members of the House, to sit and consider all of this?
I will tell you.
How long does it take?
I will tell you, we start on the 11th and we are done till the next legislative day.
Okay.
Usually on an occasion like this, in a situation like this, what we do is that the people that are supposed to be screened, they have to submit their CVs.
When was the next legislative day that you adjourned to?
Yeah, it was supposed to be on the 12th. That's the next day. But usually we consider such issues at the parliamentary. We have parliamentary meetings, we have plenary. At the parliamentary, we will now take a decision to direct the clerk to invite them to submit their CVs, which nobody has knowledge of as at that time. And that's why the rule says it will be considered as a future day, because these are people that their activities, their actions or inactions is going to have great impact on our people. So we need to know them, we need to examine them, whether they are fit and proper person. And that's why the House is there, to always oversight the executive.
Okay,
so we're supposed, let me just make it clear.
Right.
We're supposed to ask them to bring their CV. When the CVs are being produced and circulated amongst the members, they will now fix a date which will be communicated to them, and they will appear at plenary. And we will now screen them vis-a-vis the information they have supplied.
But that has not happened as it is now.
It has not, because we have not even met at the parliamentary for even a request to bring the CV. And the whole members, that is what we usually agree upon. We have not done that. We didn't sit on that on the 12th because of certain exigencies, all for a meeting to be convened on the 17th, and the screening purportedly done. which runs foul of the Constitution.
But one of the allegations against the APC members of the House is negligence of duty and unpatriotism by the PDP members of the House. One would ask, why did the 19 members all come to Lagos when duties were waiting back home?
No, that is misinformation. You see, under the Constitution, we have power. I think Section 101, we have power to regulate our procedure, our business, and everything. The Constitution stipulates that we must sit for 181 days. Nobody had accused us that we have not made up such number of days. It's not mandatory that we have to be sitting every day. And this kind of issue, we have not sat at the parliamentary. Usually that Monday that they sat, Mondays usually is our parliamentary day. We were all prepared. All of us are supposed to meet at the parliamentary. This letter that the governor submitted, how do we go about it? When do we ask them to bring their CV? When do we screen them? That is what we are supposed to have agreed upon. But they have their own motive. They have their own intention. And that was why they went to sit on a Monday. And even the sitting is completely illegal. If you look at Order 13 of our standing order, it is only the speaker or myself that can call for a sitting at parliament, at plenary. The clerk has no power under Order 34, which specifies his duty to summon a meeting. So the question is, who summoned that meeting? Okay,
we'll take a little break to bring your track up from our studio now to hear what a member of the PDP says about there's so many things they have against the APC lawmakers, and we'll be right back in the studio.
Nigerians are expected to seek out the best 2 words to describe the activity. The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa.
Presidential
we break the news. Now you can catch all the actions live as the news spreads. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime
News, a 24-hour news station.
We want him to be removed because he has not been performing. He's not active. He's stayed at Lagos. He wants to be ruling EKITI from Lagos. We don't want it. As a speaker, he's supposed to be in EKITI state to be monitoring what is going on there.
The former speaker, Dr. Adewale Omiri, and his deputy served the state for almost 3.5 years. We are grateful to them. The House will continue to accord them deserved recognition and respect. We will continue to tap from the wealth of experience, leadership in the legislators' arms of government, is collegiate, and every honorable member is a potential principal officer.
We have changed the principal officers of the state, of the House of Assembly. The Speaker has been impeached.
All right, sir.
The Deputy Speaker has been impeached. They have been impeached on the ground that, one, they left their official responsibility without an official notice. 2, for not to be able to coordinate the House of Assembly members, trying to divide the House of Assembly members. 3, holding the states hostage with the responsibility the whole to have render for this state to move forward. 4, for relating or revealing official secrets of the state to some interested party outside the government. 5, for misappropriation of the House of Assembly fund. 6, for signing a resolution that the House of Assembly members did not know about. That is the resolution of allowing the past government to get 5 billion naira bond from Steering Bank without being passed in this allo chamber. It is the normal numbers of people in the House of Assembly that are in prison. The figure? Yes. Look, let me tell you this. You see, when we come to the issue of figure, not figure, House of Assembly has their own culture. We have our own law. We have the way we operate. We have the way we run things.
Well, there you have it, of course, some of the House members talking there. Well,
And the allegations leveled,
is there. But let me quickly say this. You know, of course, you have the platform to clear all of these now here. But one of the things that has been really noticed of recent is a lot of people are saying, why didn't it have this when the former administration, I mean, led by former Governor Fahimi was there? Why didn't you have all of these, you know, divides, opinions, and all of that? Why now? That's exactly what people are saying. Could there be anything attached to it?
That's what I've just said. You see, they have a game plan. They have a motive. You see, the judiciary more or less have been rendered useless. It's in comatose. The same thing is being planned for the Legislative Assembly. All these allegations are baseless. They cannot be substantiated.
Let's get to the allegations before you continue.
Yeah.
You left, he said, you left your official responsibilities without official notice.
Which official
unable to coordinate the House of Assembly.
Which official
holding EKITI state hostage.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
That's why I said.
Okay.
So you have to answer to about 6 of these allegations.
Yeah, he cannot substantiate it. I am free to travel. Okay. What the Constitution says is that I must participate in the proceedings of that House for not less than 181 days.
But it looks like the whole of EKITI people, because you saw the number of people at that rally who actually were on
Those
protest.
are rented crowds. They are rented crowds. And you see, I will tell you one thing. You have a situation now where EKITI is in captivity. The radio station, the TV station, if you visit EKITI and see what they dished out, you'll be sorry for that state. Blackmail, sheer blackmail, misinformation, and a lot of things. You see, a lot of things. On the day we read that letter for the first time, which our rule says we cannot consider on that day, by immediately thereafter, the radio station, the TV station, they started their propaganda. They started their blackmail, saying we demanded for money, we did this, we did that. And you see, that is what is being dished out to the people. During Dr. Kayode Fayemi had appeared on TV and radio station several times, alongside the opposition. They were always allowed to pair with me. Larry Ogunshu is there. Aribi Shogun, who is director of media, we were always appearing. Our people were allowed to have a balanced opinion, balanced view. But now, you cannot. Larry Olayinka will not allow you. We have made several attempts to speak on some of these things. Even when we address a press conference, they will just show it. You will see, you will not hear any voice. They don't allow people to hear our own side of the story. And that was one of the reasons why we came to Lagos. Because you have media here that operates on an international basis. Other people will hear what we have to say. So
the members, all the APC House members had to come to Lagos.
The 19th. Yes. And that's why we've been visiting most of the TV stations and radio stations here to state our own side, because you can't do that back in EKITI. You can't do that back in EKITI.
You and the speaker, you're headed to court. You went to court. Is that what you think?
That is it. Because
hold on, I'm coming.
Okay.
You're headed to court now, and as it is now, the impeachment. Of course, we have a new speaker right now.
No.
The name of Olugbemi.
There's no speaker for now.
Is it not constitutional that if a new speaker has been appointed and is there right now operating? Are you saying that speaker is invalid?
It's invalid.
You are headed to court.
Yeah.
Is that the way forward for EKITI people that you represent?
When there's a breach of the law, you have to go to the law to remedy it. Simple. 7 people cannot impeach the speaker. 7 people cannot continue to sit just because they have the backing of Mr. Governor. On the day they sat, they were all brought to that assembly in the bus attached to the office of Mr. Governor. The governor said accompanying them, you have over 300 police that were brought, and thugs. Even the thugs are still in the assembly, smoking in their hemp, brandishing weapons. And unfortunately for them, one of them, the purported new speaker, I think went to the assembly about 2 days ago. The thugs mistook him for one of the group of 19 lawmakers, and they vandalized her vehicle, beat her driver to a pulp, because they thought she was one of the women within the G19. Those are the kind of things we are talking about.
Can you tell us when the 19 members of APC are likely to go back to EKITI?
We are going back this weekend. Why we came to Lagos is just to sensitize the public and let people have balanced information about the happenings in EKITI State. We can't leave our constituencies. Our people are still on the ground. But the man operating there now, he has an antecedent. He has an antecedent which is known to people. It's known to people. It's not a stranger to EKITI people. But I know the truth will always prevail.
So what do you see this all ending up? Are you going back to the House of Assembly?
We must.
Are you taking back
We definitely, even with the legal backing and everything, they are going to be flushed out.
So if you
even
go
right
back now,
ab initio, they don't have a right to call a meeting.
So if you go back now, it will now have a situation where we have two speakers.
There's no two speakers. You don't need to be a lawyer to understand what is written in the Constitution. Go and read the section 92. 18 members are needed. Myself and the speaker were elected unanimously, even without a dissenting voice from the then 24 members. And the Constitution says, before you can remove them, it's 2/3.
But
2/3 of 26 is 18.
That's the purported new speaker on the screen. And we're just trying to see what will happen when you go back to EKITI this weekend without erupting violence. Are you going to force that man out of seat, or what exactly? How are you going to pull this through?
He knows he's just a pretender to that seat. He himself knows. Olugbemi is not an illiterate. He knows. He knows he's just a pretender, and they are just being used to emasculate the assembly so that Mr. Governor can be ruling without any check. That is just it. It's just unfortunate that he could penetrate us and buy them. He doesn't want, he wants to be an emperor. Judiciary will be in comatose, the house will be in comatose. That is just his own agenda. And that was why, sanity must prevail. How can a governor, if you are not involved, come out to the public, to the whole world, and say you are more comfortable with 7 than 19?
As we round off now, it was said in some quarters that you came to Lagos for safety of life. You scampered for your life. Is that true?
I have said it. It is not safe for us. We can't, they will not even allow you at EKTV or the BCES. And like I said, this man has an antecedent. You don't have to be an EKITI man for you. Google Mr. Ayofayose. He has been there on that seat, and when he came, he told people that he's now a born again. But I can see that the born again now is even times what he did then.
But
it's not good for our people.
There is this love for the governor from the EKITI people. He won the election.
Let me tell you that. You see, I wouldn't want to go into that because the matter is sub judice. You understand? The matter is still at the tribunal in Abuja. I will not speak on that. But what I'm saying is that, fine, even if EKITI people had elected him, we've accepted him as a governor until the court rules over otherwise. But he goes beyond that. He must rule constitutionally. He must rule with the fear of God, the oath he took, and he must rule with under the rule of law being operated. So it goes beyond people giving you mass of votes.
Okay, just before we go, you've gone to court. When is the case scheduled for hearing?
Well, our lawyers will know that.
Okay.
We are just parties, and they know that. And your station will hear it when the whole thing starts unfolding.
Thank you very much for your time, Right Honorable Tunji Orisalade. It's been a wonderful time with you. Okay, I guess before we go, we should have a call for you, do we? We don't for now. And we would release you at this point, and when need be to call you again into our studio, we'll let you know. And I hope then you'd answer our invitation.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming.
I will always answer your call.
There is a call for you. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello, we can hear you. Just go ahead now. We're rounding up on the speaker. Can you?
Okay, I guess that will be it. Thank
good.
you so much for trying to call. I know that subsequently you'd be able to give us your opinion, or you can just go to our Twitter handle at Core TV News NG, and we'll definitely take your comments. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you very much for coming. We'll take a break and we'll be back on Core Digest Extra.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on Core TV News.